I am at that point of my life where every decision I am taking is very crucial. When I was in my 20s, that was not a big deal. That was not something I was really particular about. I was just going with the trend or going with what was working. I want to assume that some of us were in that. But right now, the stage where I am right now is a stage whereby every decision I take, I scrutinize it, and it's very important in order for me to avoid everlasting disaster or something that's going to affect my generations to come. Some of our adults, some of them are not in places where they want to be, and not because they like it and all that. Some of them is just mainly about the decisions that they took at some point in their life. So that is why it's very crucial that at this point of your life, once you're 30s or you're in your late 30s, early 40s, you need to pay attention to the type of decisions that you're making. Every decision I take, it's very, very important at this point in my life. What I've started doing, or what I decided to start doing, was first of all to identify who exactly I am, and also where I am in my journey and where I want to be going forward. So these are things that are very crucial, questions that you should ask yourself. Who are you? Where are you in your journey? So I'm not going to make it personal or talk about anything really that personal. I'm going to narrow it down to investment. So starting my multifamily journey, at the beginning, it was just like I was diving in, just swimming, and not even realizing if there were sharks or whales in the river or in the sea. I was just diving in and going. But right now, if you tell me to jump into the water, I doubt if I would just dive in without checking around to see if there are sharks or whales in it. That is not the strategy I would do. The time to have made those mistakes were in the past, which I did. So I made a lot of mistakes, which I'm grateful for. But right now, there is no room for those kind of mistakes. I dare not make those mistakes that will translate into disaster for my generations to come. So I believe I do not have that levity of time to start making those blunders and all that. So right now, what I've done recently or not too long ago was to understand where exactly I am, where I am in my investment journey. And that is the beginning. And this is very crucial to me, and I believe for other people, because the lesson I learned before chasing any deals or chasing anything right now is to understand who I am and where I am in that spectrum. Or otherwise, I'll be wasting time, effort, energy, resources, and even lose opportunities. So this is the time for you to understand where you are and who you are, to know exactly where you want your investment goals to go, or where you want to be as regards your investment goals. And every other part of your life, not just investing, your personal life, your spiritual life, your educational life, your financial life. These are exercises or things you should be doing. You need to be sincere with yourself, exactly where you are and where you want to be. So these are things that you need to do before even saying that you want to jump in and invest. Success in multifamily investing begins with who you are and where you are in the journey. Because without this, it is very easy for you to start chasing deals that do not align with your goal, or for you to start having paralysis analysis. I have some friends that have been having paralysis analysis and investing for a long time, and they will get there, but it might take a very long time and opportunities might be lost. So I'm going to give you steps how you can identify who you are and where you are in your investment journey and what you should start doing. For the purpose of this, we're going to just streamline it, like I said earlier on, to just multifamily. So the first thing you need to do is to identify who you are. Who is Bibi Ofiri? So now I've been able to identify that Bibi Ofiri is an active individual who wants to be involved in every part of it, and time is something that she has compared to money, especially at the beginning. So because I know that about myself, I believe that my investment should be more of active versus someone else that is very busy, or you have a W2 that takes virtually your entire time, or you don't have that time but you have the money, and you know you can exchange that to get that which you want for your investment goals. So that is how you can identify who exactly you are. So the first thing is to know who you are. I am active, and I've always known from the beginning that I was going to be an entrepreneur and I was going to be a business owner, and I was not going to have to do W2. So I knew that about myself a long time ago. I knew that I could trade my time in exchange for what I wanted, in exchange for getting my financial freedom. So streamlining it to multifamily, like some of you have heard my story, I started without a single dime, but what I knew was I had time and I had skills and knowledge. I had to exchange that in exchange to get wealth. So you can be in that scenario and say, okay, this is where I am. I don't have the money, I don't have anything, but maybe I have the knowledge, I have the skills. Okay, I think I can be active, put some sweat equity in exchange for cash that I do not have. Versus someone else that actually does not have the time, might have the skill, but is willing to exchange that money in exchange for equity and all that. So you need to understand understand exactly where you are and where you fit into the spectrum. And it might be that you virtually have a little time and you have a little money and you can mix both to achieve your goal. You can do that. There's a point in my life I decided to do that. I was both passive and active. I was active in my own deals and passive in other people's deals because I was investing in other people's deals. I decided to blend both because at that point there was something I was looking for, because I needed to scale. I needed to do some little passive to work with those people that were already doing bigger deals than I was doing. So that was the decision I made at that point in my life. And there's nothing wrong with having mix or blend of those two, and know that all you need to do is to understand who you are. What's your strength? What's your capability? Do you know the gap between where you are and where you want to be? These are questions that you need to ask yourself before you can now say this is who you are. The next step is for you to assess where you are in the entire spectrum. Where are you in the entire process? So take a hard look at your current position. Don't be biased. You need to, this is very critical for your success. So you don't have to let anything slide. You have to be very, very sincere with yourself to know exactly where you are in your journey. So right now, you need to analyze it in this form. Do you have the experience or are you just starting up? I've seen people that they just started, some of them just few months, but they want to be asset managers already. And I'm like, it takes time. It's a process. You don't just jump in like that. You have to go through the process because these are things that is built on experience, mistakes, errors that will help you understand how to properly manage a property. For sure, in my opinion, I feel that most of the times, the more error you've made, the better operator you would have become. And that's why I always embrace my errors, because the errors I made in the past are the ones that are shaping me for my future. I appeared on someone's podcast last week and the question was, Bibi, what would you change if you were to go back to the young Bibi? And I said, truth be told, I don't think I'm going to change anything, because if I didn't go through those issues or those transforming moments, that's what I would call it, I don't think I will be who I am today. But rather what I would do is I will concentrate more on my future and make better decisions rather than changing who I was in the past. You need to understand what your experience is. Do you have any experience at all, or you are new? And if you are new, there's nothing bad with it. At least you've been able to assess exactly where you are. Then that is what will form your next move. Another question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of financial resources do you have? For me, I already knew, when you are at zero level, you don't have anything. It's very easy for you to identify where exactly your financial resources is. I knew I had no dime, nothing. I knew where I was at that moment. I was able to identify that this is a no-no. It will take me a long time to build my finances for me to get to my goal. So I was able to identify that. So that's what you want to do. You want to identify what your financial resources are. Anybody that tells you that multifamily is cheap, I do not agree. It's not cheap. It's not cheap in this way because it needs a lot of money and it also needs a lot of sweat equity. So if you don't have one, you have to have the other, or you have both. So you need to understand where your financial resources is. That will also help you assess or help you evaluate where and how you need to start your multifamily journey or scale in your multifamily journey. So another thing you need to have while assessing where you are is also for you to know what your knowledge gap is. Do I have the right knowledge that will help me manage a deal? I've seen new people that are just very new in the industry and have not had any experience, and the next thing I hear from them is forming my team and I'm starting up a deal. I know that there's nothing wrong in doing that as long as you have the education and you have a team of people that are more experienced than you on board helping you navigate the entire process. But if you're just starting out and you don't have experienced people on your team, then that might be an issue. So in the goal of identifying where you are in the journey, you need to understand exactly what your knowledge gap is. What is it that I do not know and what is it that I want to know? As I am right now, there are some things in the investing sphere that I still do not know and I'm open to learning, and that's why I still attend webinars, meetups, I listen to articles, I still go on YouTube. I do a lot of those things because I still realize that there's still some wealth gap or there's still some knowledge gap that I still do not have, and if I don't have it, I can move to the next level. So you need to take a deep breath and analyze where exactly I am right now in my knowledge gap and what type of knowledge do I need to get me to the next level. The final question you need to ask yourself while assessing where you are in your journey is, are you building the right relationship with the right people? There's an adage that we normally say 20 friends cannot be friends for 20 years, and that is very true. So you need to understand, you need to know who are the friends around you, who are the partners or the people around you. Are Are they going to help you in achieving your goal or help you kill that goal? So you need to start assessing or start building that relationship. Do you have it already? Do you need to start building it? For me, I didn't have it at all, because I remember, I just don't want to always sound like a broken record, but for some of you, you know that as an immigrant, especially at the beginning, most of the friends you have are people on your level, people that are still struggling or trying to even identify themselves, people that are still confused about what to achieve in the US or what not to achieve. So those are the kind of people I had around me when I was starting up. I didn't have the right set of people, so I knew that was something I needed to change and transform. And when that change came, those people that were friends with me already knew that this is another level. I don't think I fit into this right now with her. So you need to know if you're building the right relationship or partnership, because that will also help you determine where and how far you will go. Like they say, your network is your net worth. So the third point is align with the right opportunities. Once you've been able to identify who you are and where you are in the game, the next thing for you to do is to identify the opportunities that aligns with your goal. Like if you are just a beginner or you're just starting, you might want to start being a passive investor to understand, what does it even look like investing? What are the type of returns I should be expecting? So if you're at the beginning stage of investing or investment, you might want to start as being a passive investor. And don't forget, why is investing passively? You need to invest with the right operator. You need to seek for the right operator, people that already know what they're doing. So for us in Blue Ocean, we definitely know how to operate properties with a lot of years of experience in operational part of multifamily and also managing those assets over time. I can boldly say that all our deals are cash flowing. It's a big deal right now because we are seeing deals that are not even cash flowing or giving our returns to their investors, or some of them are even dead. They are nosediving right now. So we're seeing that happen. So you want to align your goal, as if you're starting up. Like I said, it's good that you start up being a passive investor, but whilst you're doing that, you should ensure that you're investing with the right operator that has the wealth of experience and has even failed and is bold enough to say that they failed, but this is how they've been able to overcome or scale over time. You need to have that at the back of your mind. But if you're not new to investing, you've been doing this and you're just looking at scaling, then you might need to focus really now on whether you want to focus on maybe deal flow, capital raising, or asset management. So these are the three key parts of a multifamily deal, which is one, the acquisition part, the capital raising, and the asset management. Because you already have an idea of what multifamily is, you've been doing it, but at this point you want to scale, then you need to narrow it down, because multifamily process is wide and broad. You don't want to be jack of all trades in this particular aspect. There's nothing wrong in knowing everything. Like I always tell people, I know the entire process of investing in multifamily, from finding deal, sourcing the acquisition, operating the deal, managing the deal, and all that. I know every aspect of it. It does not mean that you should do that. It means that it's important that you learn to focus on your strength. We call it superpower. So focus on that part that you know you're good at. If you're good at acquisition, that is finding deals, stick to that. If you know you're good at raising capital, stick to that. If you know you're good at asset managing, then stick to that. If you have a combined knowledge of maybe two or more, then you do that. But at this point, you need to align your goal exactly to what you want, because if you are scaling, it's a different approach you give to someone that's just coming into multifamily. The next step is for you to take strategic actions. Clarity brings confidence. So once you are clear about this whole thing, you'll be confident. You already know where you should exercise your power on. I have a team member, and shout out to you, Ify. I remember when we jumped on a call together, she was just at the beginning of her journey in the multifamily, and she told me then that she was concentrating on deal finding or brokers call. That is, reaching out to brokers to see if they can give her deals and all that. But she realized quite early that this wasn't working. She was not a numbers person. She's a pharmacist. That was not going to work for her. So when she joined our team, she started realizing who she was. It was something else. She could raise money and she could connect, because there's a part for you to be able to form a right team. She had that capability of forming the right administrative and investors relation. She immediately knew what her superpower was, and she started taking strategic steps in ensuring that she was going to focus on that. That made her just streamline her own process. She just talked to it. All her deals, she just knows exactly what she's supposed to do. She does not go near numbers. She doesn't go near underwriting. She doesn't go near some things that she knows she doesn't have the capability on doing. All she's doing is sticking to it. And the more she's doing it, the more she's getting getting better and improving, because the way she started in the first deal that I partnered with her is not the same level she is now. She has improved and it has become more efficient for her. So in other words, you need to start taking strategic steps. Is it capital raising? Do you need to start networking, going out for more events to look for people that align, or investors that align with your goal? Are you analytical? Do you like numbers? What do you need to do to start finding deals? You need to start creating relationship with brokers. You need to start creating relationship with owners, people that are ready to sell their properties and all that. You need to get conversant with underwriting. You need to sharpen your pencil and be able to underwrite deals, be less aggressive on your numbers. Those are the skills that you have. Do you need to join a mastermind to build your network of people or friends? The multifamily space is more about execution. And know who you are will help you stay focused and avoid unnecessary distraction. My next point is for you to keep evaluating and keep adjusting. Nothing is cast on stone when it comes to multifamily investing, because we have things like the market shift. Things always evolve, and experiences sometimes reshapes your perspective. I can tell you for a fact that when I started, the experience I had then on many matters are not the same experience I have now. If you give me the same situation, my response might be different, or my solution might be different from what I would have told you many years ago. You know why? Because experience are shaping my perspective on that situation. And the more experience that I have, the better solution I'm able to create. You need to continuously reassess your position and also refine your strategy. It's important that you continuously do that, and it will help you refine your strategy. Successful investors remain adaptable while staying true to their core identity. It's important that you are flexible, but that should not change your core identity. What that means is that if you're an underwriter, you should be flexible in the market conditions if things are changing, but that does not change you from being an underwriter or being a deal finder. It does not change any of your core identity at that point. So in summary, I would like to end by saying that knowing who you are and where exactly you are in your journey will give you the clarity and the confidence that you need to start making the right decision, especially now. I don't know where you are in your life or in any aspect of your life, but what I know is that the older you get, the more it is important that you make the right decisions, because if you make the wrong decisions at your old age, it might be difficult for you to correct. So it's very important that at this point you need to have clarity of who you are and where you are currently for you to understand where you're going to. Thank you and have a wonderful day.